every team in the AFC West, besides the Kansas City Chiefs, won this week. The Buffalo Bills won this week, and they have a pretty easy schedule.
Yes.
So it is not looking great for the Kansas City Chiefs, who are at the bottom of the AFC West and the bottom of the AFC right now as it sits. It's that football show here on KC Sports Network. Tucker Franklin hanging out with Matt Verderame on a Monday edition. And holy cow, Matt. Holy cow. What a Sunday night football game. What a Sunday slate of games. It feels absolutely incredible that football is back. You know what it feels like, Matt? It feels like when you take that first sip of Ben Holiday Bottled and Bond Bourbon. Thank you to our partners and sponsors of this here program and the Holiday Distillery as well. I don't know if we could have asked for a better Sunday night football game, Matt, to kick off the year. Bills-Ravens did not disappoint. I had a lot of expectations going into this game, and it was incredible. For people who are listening to the podcast, we're recording this immediately after that game gets done. So
yes,
we're talking about that game. It has Chiefs implications. Incredible game.
That's probably going to be the best game of the year.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
I mean, I think I understand it's week one, but it's probably the game of the year. The Ravens, by the way, have had hilarious back-to-back week one losses.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, yes.
It's just impossible. Like, how could you lose? I mean, this is worse in the sense of, like, the other game was basically like they're trying to win, like, the back door. Like, oh, my God, like, we might actually come back and win this game.
Yeah.
This is, look, there's two ways to look at this, and I think both ways of looking at it is correct. The Bills deserve an immense amount of credit
100%.
For not giving up, staying in the game. Allen threw for 251 yards in the fourth quarter. Like, Allen, look, I understand everybody watching the shows would say Mahomes is the best quarterback alive. And, like, I'm in that boat with you. Mm-hmm. I agree. Mm-hmm. But quarters like that are why Allen, at least it is reasonable to put him in the conversation with Mahomes. We're like, for sure, there's no one else alive having that quarter. Okay, yeah. Burrow was busy throwing for 7 yards in the second half against Cleveland. And Lamar Jackson was awesome, but then, like, they did the Baltimore thing, which is the other way to look at this. Okay, and this is actually, to be fair to Lamar, has nothing to do with him.
Nothing, yes, correct, yes.
This is that game, while an example of why Buffalo is terrific and will be there at the end, okay, that is also an example of why Baltimore is a fucking disaster in every big game they play.
Uh-huh.
And look, one thing that's got to be said, it's not said enough. It's actually said a lot in Baltimore, but not outside of Baltimore. At what point here does this fall on the coach? That is a disaster of a football game, the last 6 minutes. Okay. They were leading 40-25 with under 4 minutes to go in the game. Now, look, I get it. The Bills needed some insane luck. Like, the ball bounces to Coleman in the end zone. And,
yeah,
okay, fine. That shouldn't matter when you're up by 15 points with 4 minutes left.
Right.
The Henry one, look, he fumbles. That's not on hardball. Like, Henry's got to hold on to the ball. I know he had a great night, but, like, that ruins the entire night. You just cannot fumble that football there. Ed Oliver, by the way, was the only Buffalo defender who played defense at all night long. I mean, hell, they had to strip that out. But the thing that I'm alluding to most, why Baltimore is who they are. They have a 4th and 2 at the Buffalo. They're on 39-yard line. If they pick that up, they literally kneel down. Like, the game is over. Buffalo at that point either has one timeout left and they're sitting on it, and it still makes no difference. Like, you couldn't have stopped the clock enough to get the ball back,
right? Or
they take a timeout there and Baltimore kneels 3 times and the game's over. How in God's name you're looking at the way that game's going? Your offense has 40 points. You have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. The Bills couldn't stop a nosebleed all night long. Yep. And you're like, yeah, you know what we ought to do here? Let's punt this one. And let's hope that our defense, which can't do anything, stops Josh Allen here. At some point, I really do think you've got to look at Baltimore and say, yeah, they got all the talent in the world, but, like, it doesn't matter when your mentality includes punting there and you can't finish a team off. Like, yeah, it's week one. That is an ungodly loss. Like, that could really determine, like, where you go in the playoffs. 100%. If you're a 1 seed, if you're a 3 seed, like, that is, look, the Chiefs loss was horrific on Friday.
Absolutely.
the Chiefs' loss doesn't hold a candle to what Baltimore just did. That's honestly the kind of loss that might stick with them for a while. That might be the kind of loss where like they don't. You know, remember years ago when Denver beat the Chiefs when Charles fumbled.
Yeah.
I remember after that game thinking to myself, like, the Chiefs may not recover from this. And then they lost the next 4 games.
Right.
Oh, no, Baltimore plays Cleveland next week. Like, they'll recover against Cleveland.
It should be fine, yeah.
But then after that, it's Detroit and Kansas City. And you do wonder a little bit, like, does that loss just kind of stick with them? Maybe it doesn't, but man, that is everything that has been wrong with the Ravens in big spots for years. Coaching, execution, game management, all of it rolled into like 4 minutes.
I saw this tweet from Josh DeBow from the Associated Press.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
Most blown double-digit leads in the fourth quarter over the last 10 years, playoffs included. John Harbaugh has 8, Kyle Shanahan has 6, which is kind of funny because like he tweeted that out before the fourth quarter, the blown fourth quarter lead, and he obviously followed it up with the updated number. That goes to your point about when does this fall on the coach. John Harbaugh, the Harbaughs, phenomenal football coaches, but like at some point, man, there's got to be some answers from higher up. At some point, we talk about this with the Chiefs and with Spags and Andy Reid. At some point, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Right? Like if you are still putting Tamari Connor out there, if you are still blowing fourth quarter leads, that is a coaching problem. Right. And I think that the frustration, it might start to leak out. That's interesting. I hadn't really heard that like people in Baltimore were frustrated. It makes sense. I remember people in Buffalo being upset with Sean McDermott after they lost to the Chiefs. Like they keep losing to the Chiefs in the playoffs. Like I understand like that frustration's out there. But I thought that stat from Josh was interesting. But like if you look at the box score of this game, Lamar Jackson, 14 for 19, 209 yards. He had 70 yards on the ground, 6 carries, 1 touchdown. 2 touchdowns through the air. Derrick Henry, as you mentioned, an incredible game, 18 carries, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaged 9 yards a carry. I know he had that really long, like 49-yard run that he had, but it does get all negated by that fumble. That's an insane game from Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Like that box score, you should look at that box score and be like, oh, so they won by like a lot, right? Well, no. And look, to be fair, Buffalo's defense made that play. Like Ed Oliver made a play when he needed to. They were not stopping the Ravens at all, but did enough at the end of the game there to just make sure that they got. I think they literally got one. I need to pull up the drive chart, but I think they got one stop. They got one stop when they needed to, and that was enough for Josh Allen to literally go God mode. He finishes with 394, 33 of 46, 2 touchdowns. I believe he had a rushing touchdown, which he passed Thurman Thomas as well in the rushing leader list. I saw that, and I was like, holy cow, this dude just keeps getting rushing touchdowns. It's insane. But man, I think you hit the nail on the head. You got to give credit to Buffalo for coming back and Josh Allen for playing literally insane, but like, both things can be true is that like Buffalo absolutely choked this one away by everything they had. But that's what. But Baltimore.
Look, I tend to whatever that maybe it's just because of who I am as a person. Like I look at like the negative side of things typically, and then I kind of look at the positive. But like, look, here's what I will say with the Bills. That to me is amazing. Allen goes 33 of 46 for 394 and 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
He also ran for 2 touchdowns. The Bills' talent around him, like we'll sit here, I'm sure, and talk about the Chiefs' lack of talent now, where they've been at.
Right.
The Bills have nobody.
No.
The Bills have, like I know Keon Coleman. People sit there and think, "Oh, it's Keon Coleman season." Keon Coleman did nothing in that game for like 3 quarters, and there was catching balls underneath him, like pre-vet defense. They're called a deflection.
Mm-hmm.
Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Joshua Palmer, Dalton Kincaid, Jackson Hawes, Dawson Knox, Elijah Moore, Ty Johnson, and Ray Davis. Oh, I forgot James Cook. I'm sorry. Those are the people that caught passes for the Bills in this game. Like, and then you sit here and you're like, it feels like so unbelievably easy. And look, some of it's not. Some of it's Allen being ridiculous.
Right.
But like, those just get wide open. Then you watch a Chiefs game, and the Chiefs just can't get one single human being open for 4 solid quarters. And Mahomes has to just like. And again, there's a lot of similarities. As Allen also has to make like wine out of water 10 times a game.
Uh-huh.
But you watch it, and like, look, I know this might be a weird takeaway. I think the Chiefs and the Bills, if Rice and Worthy are healthy, I think those two teams are unbelievably similar in the sense of like it is going to have to be those two quarterbacks just going berserk because I don't think either team can play any defense. After watching the Chiefs week 1, like here's a hot take. I think Spags will fix some of this stuff. Some of this is not getting fixed. Like they just don't have the athletes on defense. Buffalo, it will be glossed over that Buffalo basically gave up 13 yards of play for most of that game. Like Buffalo's couldn't do anything in that game. But you look at Baltimore and go, yeah, like that team. I'm not saying they're by any means. I'm not saying they're the best team in the AFC. They're the most talented team.
Mm-hmm.
Like just 1 through 53, they have the best roster. But they are living proof that sometimes that just doesn't matter. Like they should have won that game 100 times out of 100 and just found every possible way, a dumb turnover. And by the way, if this game looks familiar, it's probably because you saw it in January, where the Ravens threw a ridiculous pick and had a horrible fumble from Jackson and had a horrible fumble from Andrews and had to drop in the end zones from Andrews and had multiple just blown coverages where they're nowhere near a guy.
Right.
Like that is on the players, but that is also on the coach. And like John Harbaugh, I feel like at this point is kind of living off of 2012 and like a whole bunch of regular seasons where it's like, yeah, man, great. You won 13 games and then did absolutely nothing in the playoffs. Nothing. In all the years Lamar Jackson has been on this team, they have beaten in the playoffs Ryan Tannehill and the Titans in a wild card game. Russell Wilson and the Steelers in a wild card game.
Yeah.
And a rookie quarterback in CJ Stroud in the divisional round, and then summarily got plowed by Kansas City in the following round in the AFC title game. In a game that Justin Tucker decided to like start stirring the pot game.
Yeah.
Okay. I just think at some point you'll look at Baltimore and like all the nerds love them to death because they're just like analytical darlings. Great. They suck in every big game they're ever in. I don't care. Like, and I know you're going to get people like, they would have won this game 99 times out of 100. Great. They didn't win. I don't care. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't care that like they should have won. Like analytics said they had a 98% chance. Yeah, that's great. Well, that's even more to the point then. How about winning that game? How about winning that game occasionally? It's just, and like the weird thing about it is, as talented as they were, when Buffalo scored to make that game a 1-score game, I was watching the game with my dad back in New York, and I was like, I'll tell you right now, Baltimore better run this clock out. Because if they don't, this game's going to be tied. And then it was tied. And, like, if they don't go down here right now, like, actually, sorry, it wasn't tied because they get 2-point conversion. So they stopped in 4:38. I'm like, if they punt the ball back to this team, this game, and when they picked up that 7 yards with Hopkins, I'm like, all right, they're definitely going for it. Like, you'd be out of your mind. And I posed this question to you earlier because I think it's a really interesting just thought exercise. I don't know what it means. I don't know, but I think it's an interesting thought exercise. And I had the thought during the moment. So Harbaugh gets 4th and 2 at his own 39. A first down ends the game.
Right.
It's 40-38. And John Harbaugh was like, you know, it would be a great idea. Let's punt this sucker. Right. They punted. Shockingly, the Bills, they needed like 8 seconds to get 80 yards down a kick field.
Right. Yeah.
But here's the question. If the quarterback on the other side of the field in this game, same exact game, was Patrick Mahomes, does he punt the ball?
Hell no.
And that's, to me, what's so fascinating. Allen's coming off an MVP season. They're at home. Got all the momentum in the world. And it was like, he didn't even really think about it. It was like, oh, we're just going to throw the punting team out there.
It's like, oh, 4th down. Okay, that's what you do. You punt on 4th down.
And I think the only reason is, and this I don't, if this comes off as a shot at Allen, I certainly don't mean it because he was spectacular.
He's great.
I think it's because with Mahomes, there's like an intrinsic fear. Like you're almost blinded by the rings at this point. It's like, oh my God, we cannot punt the ball to that guy. Like, whereas Allen, as great as he is, you know, the trophy case, even from a team perspective, is still empty, even though that's not necessarily on him. Yeah. But it's just funny, like, Harbaugh had, like, no thought, like, no, let's go for this. Like, no, that's all right. Where I feel like if that was Mahomes, like, there's not a chance on earth. In fact, we even saw it years ago with the Clyde game where he fumbled in a 4th and 1 in their own territory. And he was like, no, hell no, we're going for it. Like, I don't know, man. That game to me was so poorly coached at the end. like even the drive like before the ultimate drive, like they were just in prevent defense, just letting them walk down the field. Like, we'll just trade some time. It's like, there's 8 minutes left, right? Like, it's just the weirdest way to coach. And I feel like does there never come a point here where you have to look at this and go, maybe we need a change?
I have a follow up to the stat, by the way. Josh
Yep.
Dubow just tweeted something out. Now we're on the second. Now we're into double digit second half leads. When you have a double digit lead in the second half, John Harbaugh has 17 blown double digit leads in the second half, are the most since 1991. That's pretty damning, I think.
And like, it's, listen, it would be one thing if they were one of these teams, like if they were like the 2018 Chiefs, who just scored an ungodly amount of points, but also gave up like 30 points a game.
Yeah, that might be the
They have
2025 Chiefs.
billion guys on that defense who are like all pro level play. Like, how are you getting murdered like this on a week in, week out basis by anybody who's in? Remember, dude, I'll tell you what's damning, which may be a segue to another game. Remember a couple years ago when Tua licked them up for 6 touchdown passes and like 4 of them were in the fourth quarter in Baltimore?
Yes.
He threw for like 450 yards. I don't have the game in front of me. It was insane. I think it was 2022.
Letting Tua do that to you is
I'll pull it up real quick. It was 2022. It was week 2. And Miami outscored them 28-3 in the fourth quarter. They went into the game. They went into the quarter trailing 35-14.
Yep.
Tua threw for 469 yards and 6 touchdowns in that game.
I mean,
like, my brother in Christ, like, have you ever considered like doing something differently at the end of these games? Like, ever? It's ungodly how bad they are in these spots. And it's coaching problem. Like, when it spans, like to those tweets you pointed out, like those are long stretches of time. It's not like that's like a 1-year thing where like, okay, you have this team that like maybe they're bad at corner or something. This has been going on for years with them, where they just blow these games. They have no ability to close anybody out. And then the playoffs, they get in the playoffs and they just completely go pee pants every single year. It's just an absolute bedwetting. It's all over creation. Yeah, man, I don't know. As bad as the Chiefs loss felt on Friday, dude, that loss is nothing compared to that is one of the worst losses I've ever seen a team have. Great, unbelievable win by Buffalo. It's one of the worst losses I've ever seen a good team have.
Oh yeah, but both things can be true. Both things can be true in this situation. An incredible game and an incredible way to kind of cap off this this football week that I don't think, Matt, we talked about this a little bit before we started. I don't think that this weekend could have gone worse for the Kansas City Chiefs. We have to take a break. I'm going to cut us off there. When we come back, we got to talk about this no good, horrible weekend that the Chiefs just had to compound off of the loss that they already had. Let's take a break. We'll be back on the other side. But first, calling all Chiefs fans, you could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pregame coin toss. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. First home game this weekend, this Sunday for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you go check out our friends at GEHA. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back after this. Chiefs.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
Just a short drive from Kansas City. Experience the history, the heritage, and the bourbon at Holiday Distillery. Tour Missouri's oldest distillery, where real Missouri bourbon is made the old-fashioned way. Walk the grounds, taste the tradition, and take home a bottle of something special. Make the trip, sip the story. Holiday Distillery, Weston, Missouri. Book your tour at holidaydistillery.com.
What's up, guys? I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network, and I'm here to talk to Kansas City businesses. If you rely on technology, you need an IT support team that's not just another vendor, but a true IT partner. That's how I want to introduce you to my friend and neighbor, KJ Miller. He is a VCIO at ThrottleNet, the Midwest's highest rated and most reviewed IT support company. They've been in business for more than 25 years, helping companies stay secure, productive, and ahead of the curve. They aren't just IT support, but they provide data security, IT strategy, and cloud software services. They do it all, and their reviews show they do it better than anyone else. So if you want to hear about how ThrottleNet can help your local business, join the conversation with myself, KJ Miller from ThrottleNet, and our resident genius from KC Sports Network when it comes to IT, at least as he's affectionately known by us, Mr. Craig Stout. Click the link in the description to hear how ThrottleNet can help you.
Matt, I know that the Kansas City Chiefs haven't lost a ton of games the past few years, but every time they do, you're always like scoreboard watching the other teams in the AFC. You're like, all right, well, if they lost, just hopefully Buffalo loses, or hopefully Baltimore loses, or when they mattered, they did. When they mattered with the Bengals, hopefully the Bengals lose, which they almost did. I don't think that they'll matter. Hopefully not. Maybe. But also, every team in the AFC West, besides the Kansas City Chiefs, won this week. The Buffalo Bills won this week, and they have a pretty easy schedule.
Yes.
So it is not looking great for the Kansas City Chiefs, who are at the bottom of the AFC West and the bottom of the AFC right now as it sits. Now, one game in. I will caveat that. But not a great spot to be, not a great spot to start at for the if you are the Kansas City Chiefs. What game outside of in the AFC do you want to start with first? Because what I want to try to do, Matt, is at least have something to say about every game. We don't have to go deep into every game, right? But I just want to at least have a comment on every game. I think the AFC West games obviously are ones we want to spend a little bit more time on.
Obviously, the Chiefs-Chargers game we talked about infinitum.
That's
already.
Back that one up. It's gone. It's out of here.
Yeah, I've said everything I have to say about that game. It's not true. I have about 3 hours worth of thoughts I have in that game, but that's we don't have to make game beats drink bleach. Speaking of drinking bleach, we're just pouring into your eye sockets. Denver played Tennessee this afternoon. And I got to tell you here, you know what? Here's something. I agree with you when we talked about it off air. Like, this results wise couldn't have gone any worse for the Chiefs.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you a couple little silver linings. You're a Chiefs fan. Okay,
great.
I watched the Bengals against Cleveland. They're not good.
Ass.
Okay, and for anybody out there who's just like box score Bobby, who's like, well, actually, they held them to 16 points, bro. I watched the game. Okay, I watched the game. Cleveland outgained them 327 to 141 in that game. And the only reason the Browns lost is because they have some bozo rookie kicker who missed an extra point, who missed a chip shot field goal with a few minutes left. When I say that Joe Burrow was wearing the Browns in that game, there was a sequence. I can't remember. I think it was in the fourth quarter. He was sacked on 3 consecutive plays. And it was like no chance.
Sack punt, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was unbelievable how bad it was. He was sacked 3 times in the game and hit 7 times, and it felt like he was sacked 12 times.
Right.
Flacco threw 2 picks, both of which were right off his receiver's hands and popped up the Bengals player. The Bengals, anybody who walks away from this and tries to gaslight you into thinking the Bengals played well in this game, go back and watch that game.
You need to stop talking to them, actually, is what you need to do. Don't talk to that person again.
Yeah, the Bengals could have lost to Louisiana Tech. Okay. The Broncos should have lost to Louisiana Tech. Listen, their defense is going to be really good this year. We all know that. I'm not doubting that. They have 4 field goals, and part of that was because Cam Ward was not great. Okay.
Yeah.
Bo Nix might have been worse.
Also not great.
He was 25 of 40 for $176, a touchdown and 2 interceptions and a lost fumble.
2 awful interceptions, by the way. Not both interceptions were both real bad.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was one of these things where you're like, oh, the ball bounced the wrong way. No. Like, they were horrific interceptions.
Yes.
And by the way, one thing I will say that really, this is a little thing, but it really bothered me. Denver's running out the clock at the end of the game.
Right.
And it's I think it was I want to say it was 4. I'll pull up the exact play. So they're up 20-12, and they're trying to salt the game away. Denver, Tennessee can't do anything.
Are you talking about when they just threw it on fourth down?
It's 4th and 8. I was checking 3rd or 4th. 4th and 8 from the Tennessee 36. Now, you could kick a field goal there if you want to and just go up 11, or you could punt it, or you could even just say, look, we're going to run it and be careful.
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever accused a coach of this before, but I think it's accurate here. I think they were trying to stat pad the shit out of Bo Nix and like just throw the ball deep and give him like some cheap 30-yard touchdown.
Yes.
And I watched it and I was like, what are you guys about? You guys about winning, or like you worried about like what his like yards per attempt is? Like, what the fuck is that? What are you doing? It was dumb as hell. And like on a day, by the way, where Bo Nix had shown that he was absolutely liable to throw a pick six at any given moment.
Yes.
It's a very odd decision. Listen, I'm gonna tell everybody right now one thing here, okay? And I feel real confident about this after 1 week. Denver's not going to the Super Bowl. Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody who's picking Denver this offseason, well, if the Chiefs get their head out of their asses and play decently, like they'll be fine in this division. Okay. The Chargers game, without getting too into it, and then I'll digress. The Chiefs basically were committing an active act of terrorism against themselves in that game. And I'm pretty sure if Jones gets a stop there, if the Chiefs get a stop on that Jones play, like they probably win. I didn't exactly walk away from the Chargers or the Broncos performance just being like, damn, just great football. Like the Chargers, I think, played about as well as they can play and barely beat the Chiefs on a night where the Chiefs were just like, let's see how terrible we can play for 60 minutes.
Right.
I actually thought look, the Chargers had the most impressive one in the division because they beat the Chiefs. But like, I actually I will give credit to the Raiders in the sense that like they went up to New England and played like a fairly buttoned down game.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I watched all of that game. I didn't walk away from that feeling like the Raiders were like really good, but I felt like the Raiders were competent in a way that like they're not typically. So kudos to them. But yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are on those games. But I was away from that Denver game being like, okay, listen, Denver's good defensively. This team is exactly what it was a year ago, which is going to be like a death match to go 9-8.
That Denver Tennessee game reminded me of like a
2011 Chiefs.
Well, I was gonna go a mid-level college football game like you see in the middle of a Saturday, so some action or something like that.
Well, Wake Forest Duke,
right? Like it might be honestly an insult to Maction, but because that game was just like I thought was so funny. The sequence going into halftime is that a great drive by Bo Nix. They finally get a touchdown. Incredible catch by Cortland Sutton. Great touchdown. You feeling good going into the half. They immediately give up a huge kickoff return. And also, what's very funny is that instead of trying, because they also had all 3 timeouts, the Tennessee Titans did.
Yeah.
Instead of like trying to like, all right, let's center this up, let's knee it, call the timeout so we kick the field goal. They just kicked it right there and then had to do another kickoff. I was like, what is happening in this game? No one is thinking in this football game. And that was clear. Cam Ward sacked 6 times, by the way. And
the line was terrible.
Here's a fun exercise that we tried to play the other day. Can you name 3 defenders not named L'Jarius Sneed on the Tennessee Titans?
Oh, well, Simmons.
Right. Okay. That's fair.
He's like
that's a good meme.
He's
like
the
free space. Yeah.
Roger McCreary.
Oh, good pull.
I had a pick today.
That's okay. Fair enough. See, I want to preface this. When we were playing this game with the lab, we didn't have a game under our belts. We didn't get to see them play. So,
I mean, I'm just trying to think. Oh my God.
Right. Correct.
They're awful. They're bad, man. Like, I'm trying. That's awful. I should know. I'm a national writer for SI, and I'm sitting here really struggling with this.
Yeah. No, it's because they suck. That's why.
Is Malik Hooker on that team?
He just signed a contract, didn't he? Somewhere. At extension.
Who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of Diggs. No, I'm thinking of Amari Hooker.
Amari Hooker.
Fuck, man.
Well,
dude, that team. I'm looking at the stats like I'm out. Oh.
That team blows. It is.
That is atrocity.
Yeah, it got really bad when we were just like sitting there for like 5 minutes. And we're like, yeah, we're out. Like we got Jeffrey Simmons and we got.
Oh.
Yeah.
By the way, do you know who the leading receiver was in terms of yardage for the Titans?
I got no clue. I could not.
Tony Pollard. Dude, they're awful. But here, by the way, you mentioned the end of the half sequence. I thought you were going to say this, but it came right before the touchdown. Brian Callahan should have been fired at halftime. So they're up 6-3.
Right.
Disgusting, but whatever.
Yes, that game was so gross. I mean, I don't know. It was disgusting.
They're up 6-3 to get the ball. 1st and 10, 47 seconds left at their own 7-yard line. In a 6-3 game. And they decided that was the time to throw 3 times.
Yeah.
Denver had 2 timeouts. Brian, buddy, kneel on the fucking thing and go to halftime.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then they punt from their 1 because he got sacked to the 1-yard line.
Yes.
And then Sutton catches the ball. And as you mentioned, yes, then Denver kicks off and it is brought back 71 yards. It's just
so funny.
Any Broncos fan who's like, oh, 1-0, buddy, I got to tell you, yes, like a win is a win.
Technically, yes, you are.
Whoa, God almighty. I'll tell you, it's actually going to be interesting when they play the Colts in Indianapolis next week to see how that looks.
Ooh.
Because I don't know if you have a thought on this, but I don't want to shock anybody or scare anybody. The Dolphins are not good.
No, they suck.
Dude, the Dolphins. Whoa. Like, it's okay. Like, you get beat at Indy. All right, whatever. Like, you're both just kind of blah teams.
They are.
They got beat 33-8.
The brakes beat off of them.
Would you like to guess? Yeah, here, this was a fun game. For anyone out there who doesn't know how this works, it's just an ESPN stat. It's QBR. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
0 to 100.
Yep.
50 is average. Most good quarterbacks are around like 60-ish. Okay. Like, that's kind of the idea.
Bo Nix had 19, by the way.
What?
Bo Nix was 19 on his QBR.
That's too high. For an example, just for the crowd, Mahomes' QBR was 81.9 against Chargers. Okay. So he played terrifically. Let's start with this. What do you think Daniel Jones' QBR was in this game? He for anyone who didn't see the game, he was 22 of 29 for 272 yards, 1 touchdown, also ran for 2 touchdowns. What do you think his QBR was?
Sounds like a pretty damn good day at the office if you're looking at the box score. I'd probably say that's I'll go a little bit. I'll go a little above average. 71.
87.6.
Wow.
Big day for Daniel Jones.
That's shout out Daniel. You don't get very many of those, Daniel Jones. Better remember this one.
Big day for Dimes. All right, now the flip side. Tua.
Oh boy.
Tua went 14 of 23 for $114, a touchdown and 2 picks. And he also lost a fumble. What do you think his QBR was in this game?
I mean, it's got to be pretty damn low, but we know QBR is a little bit generous between the Bo Nix and that with Danny Dimes, so I'm going to take that in consideration. 15.
I feel about 2.7.
I feel like that's actually right. I actually feel pretty good about that one. Yeah, no, they nailed that one. They got that right.
2.7. Oh my God. They basically said he could have played 20 times better than he did, and he'd still be below average. It's unbelievable. And then after the game, he had a quote.
Awesome.
I don't know if you saw it on Twitter.
No.
Dude, it was like a quote that you were like, is this real?
I tried to avoid that game with all when I saw the game get out of hand, I was like, okay, that's good. I don't have to pay attention to that one anymore.
I couldn't take my eyes off of it.
Also fair.
I kept looking at it, and I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was one of the worst things I've ever seen. I can't find the quote right now, but basically he was like, yeah, last week we were all in there on Tuesday, and I know Mitch Schwartz I quote tweeted.
Oh, there we go.
By the way, here.
Go.
Yeah. So this per Fins Extra on Twitter quote, and the videos with it. Tua Tagovailoa on the team bouncing back from today's loss. Quote, I'm definitely curious to see. I came in on Tuesday. I seen these guys on Tuesday last week. I want to see if the same guys are watching film on Tuesday. I want to see how everybody goes about their process. Sir, your QBR was 2.7. I would say that probably your process is the problem.
This team hates everyone. Like, they hate each other. No one on this team likes the team, but they all hate each other.
The vibes are brutal.
No way. No way.
And that does lead to an interesting question here that's Chiefs related. They play New England next week in Miami, okay? And then they play at Buffalo on a Thursday night. If they're 0-3, is Tyreek Hill getting traded? And if he's getting traded, are the Chiefs making a very, 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 very serious phone call to Miami?
I think if you're the Chiefs, you have to, especially if with the Xavier Worthy injury. Look, I know it was reported on Sunday that Xavier Worthy is going to try to brace it up, and
yeah, but it was also reported by the same person that it basically was reported as like he could be out for 2 weeks. He could maybe be back in 2028.
It was very much a report of like he could be fine, or we could all die tomorrow.
He's injured, and it's somewhere between a paper cut and an amputation.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks.
And we'll get back to you with more details. Great, thank you. It's lovely.
My arch nemesis reporting that. Thank you for that phenomenal reporting, Ian. God damn. Anyway, so that sucks, obviously, with his injury. And obviously, if he plays with the brace, like the relocation risk is like high, and which is not great. So it's like at that point, depending on the severity, it's like, would you just rather him have surgery? Then you're down to like Jason Brownlee actually playing real snaps instead of just the most important snap of the game.
I was just saying, instead it's just the critical snap. Yeah,
right.
Great. Good, really good job there by the Chiefs to make sure he got out there at time.
I was truthfully was encouraged by Tyquan Thornton on my second walkthrough watching that game. I thought he did some good stuff. He's like, you know what's funny, Matt? He might actually be like the one wide receiver, UDFA, or not necessarily UDFA, but like additional futures contract wide receiver that the Chiefs have had that might actually legit give them something. And he maybe had the least training camp buzz around him. I mean, we got Justin Ross hype all over the place. There's no Tyquan Thornton fan accounts out here. I need to up the number of Tyquan Thornton fan accounts. I gotta have the hype. But to your point, Matt, before I got sidetracked from Tyquan Thornton fan accounts, I do think that like for the Chiefs, you got to be looking around and thinking, man, we got to do something. This is, and I tweeted this out on Sunday because somebody kind of asked me like, hey, during the Dolphins game, it's like, hey, like vibe's not great there, and I said, yeah, they're right. I was like, the vibes, truthfully, around like the Chiefs right now, what it feels to me are pretty similar to how it was before they brought in DeAndre Hopkins. Of like, hey, we got to make a move. Like, and it was a little bit later on in the season, right, when this happened, when they made that trade. But it was like, right, and they were also.
It still felt like they were like teetering on oblivion. Yes, but
correct. And like that's the thing, is that like they looked around the room and they're like, boy, like we kind of need to add another body here that can play some real snaps and actually play NFL football, not just like Nico Remigio. Unfair shot to Nico Remigio right there, but he doesn't really play wide receiver. He is a return man. He's on the roster to return punts. And like that's the thing. It's like they got to start looking around and be like, man, we need some actual dudes that can catch a football and get open and make Patrick Mahomes feel comfortable, because nobody gets fucking open.
Yeah, listen.
I'm gonna get fired up again, Matt.
I really believe, like, I know it's not like a fan thing to be like, oh, they should, like, if I'm Brett Beach, I'm calling them up, being like, look,
I think you have to, man.
You guys stink. I'd say flat out, you guys fucking suck. Okay, we need a receiver in the worst way. Tyreek Hill has been basically tweeting out like fan fiction, like and like on Instagram for months about the Chiefs. And here's the deal. Like, here's like all kidding aside, here's the reality is Tyreek Hill is going to get moved if this team stinks. There's no reason in the world for them to keep him. He's got a contract for next year, but like his contract is ridiculous for next year. There's no way in hell they're going to keep this guy in the team next season. In fact, here you go. So next year, his cap number is $52 million. Okay. Like the Dolphins aren't exactly taking on that hit. So he's going to be gone. There's no way in hell he's going back there.
Yeah.
So
he hates everybody.
Yeah, and if you're Miami and you stink, like, what is the point? You might as well trade him and get something for the guy. If I were Brett Beach, I would call them up, be like, look, You know you're dealing him. We know you're dealing him. We'll take on the prorated salary. His base salary is $10 million this year. Okay. We'll take it on. We'll restructure some contract on the team to get it under the cap.
Yeah.
We will give you a 4th-round pick for him. And if they sit there and really haggle, it's like, oh, it's got to be a 3rd. Like, fine. Do one of those deals where it's like you give them a 3rd and they give you like a 7th back or something. And
Yeah.
Like, say whatever you want about Tyreek Hill. That dude is really durable, and he is an electrifying talent. Like, even at 31 years old, and I know last year he didn't have 1,000 yards. He played with you and me at quarterback last year, and had 959 yards with nobody. Tyler Huntley was throwing the ball. I mean, that team was
Good
ridiculous.
Lord.
Okay, if I'm Kansas City, like, I'm not waiting around. Like, oh, because by the way, the flip side of that is also, if they get lucky and they actually have a full receiving room healthy down the stretch, that room is a fucking
Insane.
horror show for an opponent. Like, here comes Tyreek Hill and Xavier Worthy outside with Rice in the slot. Good luck. I mean, Mahomes, they're gonna have to try to get Mahomes. They're going to be sobbing uncontrollably in the locker room for the game. Like, can you imagine with what you just saw defensively out of Buffalo and Baltimore? That team rolling into town. I don't care where that game's played.
Right.
Mahomes big, yo, guys, we're scoring 50 tonight. Like, if anybody can force one punt, we win. I mean, to me, I think you are almost compelled to make that trade. Like, I very rarely, like, on the side of, like, you need to do something. If they lose to Philadelphia this weekend, and you're sitting at 0-2, and you've got Tyquan Thornton and Juju Smith-Schuster playing, 90% of the snaps offensively, which, by the way, they played 80 and 72% respectively in game 1.
Wow.
Like, bro, you got to do something. And also, too, you are really running on a razor's edge right now. Juju's hurt all the time. Tyquan Thornton's been hurt all the time. Hollywood Brown gets out of bed and gets hurt. Like, those are your top 3 receivers right now. Like, you are like a hamstring pull away from, like, well, let's hope that Brownlee's got something. Like,
good Lord.
You're going to tell me if they could call the Dolphins right now. You're telling me the Dolphins would be, no, he's untouchable?
They'd love to move that cap number.
The Dolphins would be, would you take Tua? We'll throw in first.
We can throw something in.
We'll do anything, please. Yeah,
so. Here's the thing: is I know that we rightfully railed on the defense on the last episode right after the game got done, and we got into it of like, hey, like no help is on the way. There's nothing coming for the defense. So you might be thinking, you might be listening to the podcast, and be like, you guys were just upset about the defense. Why don't you want them to add to the defense? Here's the thing. If they trade for somebody on the defense, who knows if Steve Spagnuolo is even going to play him, right? Because that happened with Josh Uche. That happened with Josh Uche is the only one coming to my head right now. But anyway, that's what is so like Spags loyal to a fault. We talked about that with his guys. He's going to play his guys. We talked about that on Saturday's podcast. If they make this trade and they bolster their wide receiver room, Tyreek Hill's going to play. Like, he knows the system. He knows the offense. Arguably, the offense was a little bit more complex when he was here, I think. But I think they've kind of watered it down a little bit. But that's the thing, is like I think that will have more impact than a defensive acquisition would, because he would play. Like, he would be in the rotation. He would kind of help them right the ship for this first 6 games, at least, before Rashee Rice gets back. And then I think you have to do something. I don't think the Chiefs can sit on their ass here. And that's the problem, is like, I think they can't sit on their ass, but I know that, like, hey, maybe the Dolphins are still trying to keep the facade that they're going to be a competitive football team or a team that likes each other. Mike McDaniel is probably going to be fired as well. Like, we're probably looking at a whole retooling down there in Miami. And I think if the Chiefs can kind of get aboard on the estate sale going on down there, and where's that stadium at?
Miami Gardens.
Miami Gardens. I almost said Coral Gables, but I was like, no, Miami plays at Miami. They play at Hard Rock, right? The University of Miami, the U, and they have to drive like an hour and a half to get to their home stadium. It's insane. That's not what this podcast is about, though. I'm with you. I'm right there with you. I feel like I'm in the minority when I tweet about Tyreek Hill that I want Tyreek Hill back on the Chiefs. I know people are like, oh, we don't want him anymore. Look, we won 2 Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill. Well, the Chiefs went ahead and can just win without Tyreek Hill. Yeah, it'd be a lot easier having Tyreek Hill on the goddamn offense. That would make things a whole hell of a lot easier for Patrick Mahomes, a guy he already knows how to play football with.
I also don't want to alarm any of those people, but in 2022, they had an offense where Mahomes threw for 5,200 yards. And then in 2023, had the best defense they maybe ever had since the 69 team.
Yeah.
I don't want to overstep based off one game. I don't think they're going to have the best defense that they've had in like 55 years with this current group.
Nick Bolton was in fucking hell, dude. They had Nick Bolton in hell.
I'm not going to lie. I have tried to refrain from even talking about Nick Bolton because it just starts such a toxic waste up.
It does. It really does. Yeah.
Guys, here's a really simple truth about Nick Bolton. Spags loves him because he's smart and because he can play downhill in the run game.
Yeah.
If Nick Bolton is asked to do anything that involves a back pedal, it's over.
Good thing it's 1980, Matt.
They paid Nick Bolton $15 million, and he looks like me trying to cover. It is, if I played against the Chiefs and they had Connor or Bolton inside, I would never throw the ball anywhere else.
No.
I would just be like, that's great. We're just going to throw it down the entire game because there's no, like, if you look at the yardage that the Chargers picked up in this game, it is all between the numbers. All of it. It's just crossing routes, stop routes. I mean, they just sat there and looked at 32 and 27 and like, awesome. Here it comes every play. There's nothing you're doing about it. You know what would fix that? Put McDuffie in there. But that's a whole nother ball wax.
I mean, it's almost to the point where it's like, man, does McDuffie not want to play slot? It is like, is that where it's at? Is like Trent not want to play there?
McDuffie has said he would rather play outside. But I got to tell you, I don't care. I'm sure I don't get.
Yeah, no, right. No, you're right.
Like it's like if Rashee Rice was like, I prefer to be outside, and she's like, great, well, you're unbelievable in the slot, so that's where you're gonna play. Like, also Trent McDuffie seems like a pretty good team guy. Like, I can't imagine a world where Trent McDuffie's just like going berserk on the sideline. Like, no, I need to be outside. Like, you need to do what you need to do. And by the way, like if it's that big, like then why the hell did you sign Christian Fulton?
Yeah.
Because I got to tell you, I talked to people in the building the day they signed Christian Fulton, and their entire reasoning for it was, well, moves McDuffie inside.
Well, they really wanted Fulton too.
I mean, did he pass away in the first half of that game? Where the hell was he? And then Noel Williams doesn't play a snap.
Right. Good.
I also appreciate that Joshua Williams didn't play a snap on defense, but still took a penalty in the game.
Yeah, he took the hold the very beginning of the game. I think he had another. I think he had 2 penalties. I think he had 2 teams penalties.
Okay, well then he was halfway to what Juwan Taylor did.
Yeah, did same amount as Josh.
By the way, not only took 4 penalties, it was just awful in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Just beat constantly. Also, shout out to my buddy Josh Tolentino, who has covered the Eagles, Cowboys, great guy. He's currently a columnist over at the Baltimore Sun, and he tweeted out, Lamar Jackson said he was cramping. Otherwise, he would have pushed John Harbaugh to go for it on 4th down in Ravens territory late in the 4th quarter. I got to tell you, I like Lamar Jackson. That is the biggest loser thing on the face of the earth. Hey, bro, then call a timeout.
Yeah, you had 3 of them.
Like, and also, again, the coach. Somebody want to wake up John Harbaugh on the sideline if that's the case? Like, John, you all right? You know you can call those, right? Like, I really, man. Some of these teams, look, we're sitting there talking about the Chiefs and their issues, and that's all fine. Would you like the Chiefs' issues, even currently? Like, assuming Worthy can come back.
Yeah.
If you're the Chiefs privately, you're sitting there going, look, let's go like 11-6. Be a 2-3 seed. Get Rice and Worthy back. And then just go in and score 45 points in like 2 games. Because you look at these teams, I mean, one team, Buffalo, awesome comeback, gave up literally almost 10 yards of play in that game.
Yep.
The other team was like, you know what would be great? If we did everything imaginable and lose another big game for the 80th straight time. Like, that's your biggest competition in the AFC. It's not exactly an overwhelming, like, oh my God, what are they going to do about it? And then you got Denver, who everybody thinks is going to win the AFC West, who was struggling mightily to put away Cam Ward today. So that's where we're at.
I want to read a tweet from one Matthew Lane. You could listen to his podcast, the KC Laboratory, live on Monday night.
I'm fierce to do it.
Probably good. The Chiefs' primary middle of the field coverage players got for 220 yards on 18 targets, 17 receptions.
And they just kept doing the same thing. They're like, you know what, this will work eventually if we just keep doing it. Yep.
So that's great. That's good. We need to take another break, Matt. On the other side, we probably should talk about the Chiefs-Eagles game a little bit because this is our last podcast before. Oh, that's not true.
No, we got another one.
We got another one, so I guess we don't need to talk about that. We got some more games to talk about. Really, the NFC. Really, we hit a lot of the. I think we all have all NFC games left. So we'll hit the NFC on the other side of this break, and we'll wrap up the show. So, Chiefs.
What's good, everyone? It is KCSN betting analyst Benny Heiss. You know, something hit me as I was driving to the Missouri side, ironically, for something not available on the Kansas side. I cross over. I just can't get over how long sports fans in the state of Missouri have been waiting. It feels like forever. Good news is you don't have to wait much longer because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is finally coming to the Show Me State. And if you're thinking, yeah, but I got to wait on the sidelines until December 1st, it's not true. You can sign up right now. And when we go live, new Missouri customers get $300 in bonus bets just for placing a $5 bet. $5. That's not even as much as a pumpkin spice latte that's going to take over. So it's not some ragtag sports, but this is DraftKings. You got live in-game betting. So if your team starts hot, you could jump in mid-play. There's lightning fast payouts. None of that wait 3 days for your money nonsense. And you've got more ways to get in on the action. There's no better way to start. It's all from your phone. When we go live, you'll be betting with a sportsbook trusted by millions, safe, secure, fast withdrawals, everything you want. Well, except maybe a guarantee that your team will cover the spread, but that part's still on you. So here's the move. You download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use code KCSN, and when we go live December 1st, that $5 bet turns into $300 in bonus bets. That is code KCSN in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus and physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after they are issued. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Success in real estate takes more than vision. It takes the right financial partner. When someone takes something rundown and turns it into something great, that's called a comeback story, like Brain Group. They take distressed properties here in KC, completely rework them, and then turn them into valuable real estate. But that kind of work needs the right bank behind it. Enter Emprise Bank. They're not about cookie-cutter loans. They saw Brain Group's vision, backed them, and now they're making big moves in Kansas City real estate. Talk about your partner impossible. Emprise doesn't do one-size-fits-all financing. They invest in potential and back growth. Visit emprisebank.com/KC to learn more. Emprise Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
That's not true. We got one more AFC game, and it was the game of the day until. Yeah, it probably was the game of the day until that last game of the night. Because hell of a game from the Jets and Steelers. Aaron Rodgers not dead yet. Have found a helmet he liked apparently. So he's good with the helmet that he likes. Had himself a day. Jets and Steelers, man. Also, shout out Justin Fields. Played a whole hell of a lot better than I thought Justin Fields would. I think just is another in a long chapter of why the Bears organization sucks. I'm going to chalk that up to that because my priors, right? But great game, great entertaining game.
Well, look, we're 50 minutes in. It's almost 1 a.m., so I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet. But there were two games today in the 1 o'clock window that the second a kicker lined up, I was like, I know exactly how this is going to go. When Chris Boswell lined up for a 60-yard field goal, I was like, there's no chance he's missing this. It's against the Jets. It's going right down the middle, okay, which it did. Kudos to Rodgers, 2 for 4 touchdowns. And I love after the game, he was like, boy, I really wanted to stick it to the Jets. I was like, you already did, bro, for 2 years. Congrats. The Steelers, look, they win, they escape, they score the 4 touchdowns. He threw 4 touchdowns. Boswell kicks a 60-yarder, which led to Tomlin calling him a serial killer after the game, which was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other game like that was the Falcons game, where the Buccaneers scored late to go up 23-20 and then missed an extra point off of the left upright. The Falcons get down in field goal position for Younghoe Koo, who I forget the exact number. Like the announcer was just giving him the all-time jinx. He's like, "This guy's made blah blah blah," and goes through this whole thing. And my dad's like sitting there, why? He's like, "Oh, this guy's a pretty damn good kicker." And I was like, "There is no chance this guy's hitting this field goal."
Yeah, right.
I'm like, "It's the," and he's like, "Why? He's a good guy." I mean, it's the Falcons.
Right.
There's no way this thing's going through the uprights. And the second he kicked it, it just veered like another zip code to the right. I'm like, oh God. It's the most fake. By the way, I don't know if you heard it, but the Falcons broadcast of that on the radio is genuinely hilarious.
Oh, I gotta go find it.
He just is like, however many yards it was. Like, let's say it was 43 yards. I forget the exact distance. He's like, oh, 43 yarder. Missed. It's just so defeated.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, speaking of missed field goals, in Seattle, San Francisco and Seattle played a game that Sam Darnold looked like Sam Darnold looked every year of his life.
Shocker, right? Shocker that Sam Darnold looks normal when he's not around a fucking Pro Bowl team.
Yeah, like Kevin O'Connell. Yeah. So Sam Darnold goes out and rips it for 150 yards and 6.5 yards an attempt. Brock Purdy vacillated between making great throws and like the worst throws you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Including, by the way, the touchdown pass at the end of the game to Jake Tongas, who that ball should have been picked off and somehow ended up being a touchdown. And then the Niners let Seattle drive all the way down. That game shouldn't even been close, except for the fact that Jake Moody just can't kick a football and missed one field goal from inside 30 yards, and then another one blocked from 36 yards. That's a problem. Moody was awful last year. He hit 70% of the field goals.
Yeah.
And they were just like, it's not a big deal. Shout out, by the way, Sky Moore, who did get into the game as a returner. The good news is he didn't lose a fumble.
Yeah.
The bad news is he knocked the ball that was under to him. He did have a 24-yard kick return, and he did have 4 returns for 39 yards in the punt game. So shout out to Sky Moore for bouncing back from that muff punt. But
did he get a target?
No.
Okay.
He did not.
He didn't get a reception. I didn't know if he got a target, though. The one I had didn't have targets on it.
No targets. So he had 5 returns, and he had a muffed punt, but he did fall on it.
Good.
So that's a shout out to Sky Moore. MVS did not play in this game either. So there's also that. So the Chiefs' forward receivers are just really looking good. And if you're wondering, by the way, about Justin Watson, he had 2 targets, and he caught them both for 27 yards in a game that Houston could not find the end zone in. And their fate was sealed when Ugumbawale fumbled down the red zone at the end of the game. The Rams won 14-9, and the game was like really good defensively, but also like a clinic, and like nobody can block anybody. Yeah. So that was about the only result that went right for the Chiefs on the day, was Houston lost. Yeah,
no, that does help. That does help them out. But yeah, not a great week 1 for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Does Russell Wilson? I know we're trying to touch on every game. Does he play against the Chiefs in week 3?
God, no. Jackson Dart's probably the quarterback next week.
He is awful.
He's so bad. How did
I like rage wrote about him in my column at SI. Like I'm doing this like good, bad, and ugly column on Sundays, and I was watching him. I was like, it's one thing to be bad. Like there are plenty of bad quarterbacks. It's another thing to be like boring and bad.
100%.
Like it's for the lack of a better term, and this isn't quite the word I'm looking, but it's like a gutless bad. Like he just won't throw the ball. It's like
$11 million.
Just checks down for like 3 yards a clip every play. I really like my argument was I wouldn't even go to Dart yet. I just go to Jameis. I just give Jameis the fucking ball. But here you go, man. I don't care. Like,
yeah,
I'll watch you play YOLO ball for 3 weeks. And like we're probably gonna lose because you're not good, but at least like our receivers are gonna run routes, and when they get past 5 yards of being away from you, like they know that they still have a shot of having a target.
Right.
Russell Wilson is just, buddy, if you're that scared to throw the ball, just retire. Like, there's no shame in it. You went to 10 Pro Bowls. You won a Super Bowl. Like, just hang up the cleats, dude. It's over. Like, I mean, the Chiefs should be paying the Giants to make sure he's the starting quarterback in week 3. I honestly, God, I don't think the Chiefs can lose that game. I don't think it's physically possible if Russell Wilson plays in that thing.
They got Jason Bradley play every snap.
Didn't even matter. I think the Chiefs would have to actively have 6 turnovers or something to lose that game. That team is horrific. Defensively, they can do some things. Offensively, oh my God, are they brutal? Wow, are they bad?
Yeah, I mean they held the Commanders to 21 points. That's a pretty good offense and Jaden Daniels and everything like that. But yeah, they scored 6.
Yeah, I mean the Giants even had Burns had 2 sacks in the game. Abdul Carter had a sack. He split with Thibodeau. The Giants ran for 3.2 yards per carry, and Wilson threw for 4.5 yards per attempt. By the way, QBR of 25.6, which was he's about 12 times better than Tua. In case you're keeping score at home.
Yeah, that's true.
By the way, if you do the Mahomes is 40 times better than Tua, which I think is accurate. So maybe QBR really is coming through.
Well, we didn't think about this about Tyreek Hill. He'd have to leave the most accurate quarterback in the league to come play with Patrick Mahomes.
Dude, at what point, if Tyreek Hill was told right now, you get traded back to Kansas City, but you have to read a statement retracting everything you said.
I would think you'd say yes. I think you'd be all
aboard. Oh, dude, he would do it tonight. He'd hold the presser at 3 a.m. and be like, I just want to tell everybody.
Style, yeah.
I'm sorry what I said. It would. Yeah, no. I mean, and by the way, the best part about Russell Wilson is not only did he go for 4.5 yards per attempt, he was 17 to 37. So, he's throwing the ball 8 feet in front of him, and they're incomplete. It's how are you that bad? What is wrong with you? But apparently, there's just a lot that's wrong with the way he plays football.
The only thing I have to say about the Saints-Cardinals game is that those Saints uniforms were as bad as we thought they were going to be, and they looked like UCF.
Those uniforms.
That's the thing I have to say.
Disgusting.
The only thing that's worse than those uniforms was how they played.
Oh my God.
Spencer Rattler, 27 to 46, 214 yards.
They were. Juwan Johnson almost caught a game-tying touchdown with 5 seconds left, and it got broken up in the end zone. That's, by the way, the Cardinals are the NFC version of the Broncos. Where people are, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
They're not good. They're not good. Just save yourself all the takes in the world. They played a team that, honest to God, is a borderline college team and almost lost home. Yeah. The team, and Kyler Murray, by the way, not exactly shrouding himself in glory in this game.
Did you see his outfit coming to the game?
No.
Dude, he was wearing he looked like a toddler because the clothes were just it's right. No, it just his clothes were just incredibly oversized. He was wearing jean shorts that were way too long and baggy and a sweater that was way too long and baggy.
Basically shorts at 38, 32.
It just made him look like he was dressed in his older brother's clothes walking to the game is what it looked like.
Well, he threw for $163 on 5.5 yards per attempt and was sacked 5 times.
Good Lord.
How are you that mobile and you got sacked 5 times?
I don't get it. I don't see it with the Cardinals. I think we talked about this.
They're not good.
They're not, but
they're not good, man. Yeah. The team, it's just them in Denver. It's the 2 teams everybody spent the entire offseason being I'll tell you what. No. Actually, no. They're not good. Have fun convincing everybody of that for the next 4 months.
Last game we have to hit on, and I've got a question for you on it. Are the Packers that good, or is Detroit that bad?
I watched this whole game, save for when it was it wasn't 27-6. I turned it off. I got to tell you, look, the Packers are definitely good. Really well coached, really talented team. I thought Love was efficient. I didn't think he was great, but I thought he was efficient. I thought he was good. Jared Goff looked unwell.
Yeah.
In that game. To the point that it was Jared, you know that there's not a force field 8 yards downfield, right? You can just throw the football.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I will say this. I think the Packers are definitely a really good, legitimate team. I also think like we talked about the Chiefs earlier and like that loss. I'm being honest. Like I think the Chiefs loss is concerning. We talked about why for an hour.
Yeah.
If I was Detroit, I would be more concerned than if I were the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Because to me, like the Chiefs, as bad as that game was, like, look, do I think they're going to be Philly based off what they looked like? No. I also wouldn't be at all surprised if the Chiefs went home and like, hung 40 on them, and what the hell just happened? The defense gets like 8 sacks just everywhere. Like the Lions, I watched that game and I was like, man, a couple things are really evident. It's really, really evident you don't have the creativity that Ben Johnson gave you. It's right now because that offense was not creative at all today.
Right. And
the second thing was the interior of that offensive line, like that has been set it and forget it for years. Where you've had Zeitler and you've had obviously Ragnow at center. They were getting torched, man. Like Goff was getting pressure up the middle on them. They couldn't run the ball. I'm not saying I think Detroit's going to go 7-10 or anything, but like they got hammered in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Chiefs, as bad as it was, I didn't feel like they got hammered. I thought they just played like crap.
Right. Yes.
With Detroit, I looked at that game. Man, they're getting hammered. Like I don't know. Like Jesse Newell had an unbelievable tweet earlier today that I was like, "Is that real?" And of course it is. The tweet being. I pull up real quick. Okay, something crazy looking back. The Chiefs offense scored on its last 5 drives versus the Chargers. Also went TD, field goal in the second half. The absolute maximum number of yards the Chiefs could have gained in the second half was 223. They gained 214. I mean, as bad as it was, there were like legitimate things to walk away from and being like, all right, well, especially the fact like, as long as they can even be like reasonable here over the first 6 weeks, like the cavalry somewhat coming. I watched that Lions game and was like,
right.
I don't know what you do with Jared Goff playing like that and that interior offensive line playing like that because Jared Goff can't move.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's got pressure in his face, it's over. Like there's nothing you're doing about that. And defensively, other than like Branch, Joseph, and Hutchinson, it's just a who's who of like, what? So, yeah, I think it's a legit concern for Detroit.
Yeah, I think so too. And look, I think we were on that, man. I think we were like, hey, there's something going on out here in Detroit, and obviously losing both coordinators and having a lot of injuries, a lot of guys coming back from injury, losing guys on the defensive side of the ball like they did is going to be a big part of that. But great week 1 slate, Matt. I'm happy that football's back. It was a great loaded slate. Did you enjoy Red Zone commercials?
I don't watch a lot of Red Zone, so I don't care. They can do whatever they want. I hate not feeling like I'm in the rhythm of a game. I can't deal with it.
Are you a single TV watcher or are you multiple TV?
I'm a single TV watcher. I like own in on a game and really watch it. And then like I'll like flip around like as like it becomes clear like this game's better than that game or whatever. Because I refuse to write a game off of a box score. If I didn't actually like watch a lot of the game, I'm not going to sit there and do that. But I can't listen to like Scott Hansen does an amazing job. I can't listen to the entire day just being like, look at Michael Penix, and then like as like he's like halfway through that sentence, he's like, but Breece Hall, and then it's, I just like
fair.
Like I feel like that it's like nirvana for like a fantasy football fan or a gambler. And for me, it's like I want to watch how Drake May handles like cover 2. I can't do that on the Red Zone. So.
Unfortunately, you can't do that on Red Zone. But no, that was a good day. Good day. Good week 1. Bounce back. We'll learn from our mistakes, get better with time as we go here. As the Kansas City Chiefs will be playing the Philadelphia Eagles in week 2, first home game of the year. We'll be back on Friday, looking ahead to all of the slate, and we'll be right after that Thursday night football game too. So we'll talk about that as well. What's the Thursday night football game this week?
I'm pretty sure I'm going to be covering it. Packers Commanders.
Boy, Packers Commanders. That's going to be a damn.
Pretty sure I'm going to be at that game. So yeah. Should be a good one.
God bless. We'll be recording that podcast probably on Friday then. Is what it sounds like. But you guys will get it when you get it. That's gonna do it. I think, Matt, you have any final thoughts on the week before I sign us off?
No. No, I've given all my thoughts over the last hour or 5 minutes.
Yeah, you need. Good point, actually. That's a really good point. You need to go to bed. We need to get out of here. Last couple of pods we've done have been late night pods. We've been late night podding for you guys.
Yes.
That's how we do it here at That Football Show. That's going to do it for Matt Verderame. I'm Tucker Franklin. Make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button to become a ball knower. 1 like equals 1 injury that the Chiefs won't have. So the more likes we have, the less injuries the Chiefs have. That's how it works. That's how the game works. So hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll be back on Friday, the KC Laboratory. We'll be back for you on Monday live. And then we will also have our live shows throughout the week. I'll be live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Joshua Briscoe and I will be live on Monday and Friday. Have those from 12 to 1 Arrowhead time for you there. So, thank you to our partners, Ben Holiday, Bottled in Bond Bourbon Holiday Distillery, for getting us right, getting us ready for week 2 action coming up now. So that is going to do it. We will talk to you guys on Friday. We'll see you.